Greetings, toiletarians. I'm your host, Toilet Terry, and you guys are all watching Toilet Talk with Terry. That's me, obviously. Last video's topic was New Year's traditions. Well, because obviously it's a new year. And as more and more New Year's come and go, more and more the years go by, as the years go by, you get older and older and older. You get old. That being said, the discussion topic for this episode is getting old. My grandmother BB always be talking about how it be getting old. Always. Every time she makes one little slip, just one, she uses, "Oh, I'm getting old," as an excuse. For example, if I'm not mistaken, this was probably before my time. She once had a cat by the name Dink. When my father was in college, she took him to the pet store and let him pick out his very first pet to call his very own. And he picked out a cat who was the runt of the litter, and named it PK. She helped him name it. PK stands for Pretty Kitty. It also stood for Pi Kappa Pi, his fraternity. And one time, when my sister and I were really young, BB, our grandmother BB, came to our house for the first time in a year. And when she saw PK, who was still around, she said, "Oh, hi, Dink." In that moment, we knew, yeah, she's getting old. And we were like, "It's PK." And she's like, "Oh yeah, sorry. Hi, PK." And then when it was time to leave, she did it again. She was like, "Bye, Dink." And we were like, "It's PK." And she's like, "Oh yeah, sorry. Bye, PK." My great-grandmother, who passed away either before my time or when I was really, really tiny, baby, I don't know. I don't remember her. Mama. That's what we called her, Mama. My granddaddy's mother. She was like that. For the last few years or so of her life, she had Alzheimer's disease. And every time my father would go visit her, she would always get his name confused with the names of her sons. My granddaddy, Mike, and his younger brother, Uncle Pat. My father would walk in the room and she'd either look at him and be like, "Oh, hey, Pat." Or, "Oh, hey, Mike." Or Mickey. "How you doing?" He'd be like, "I'm doing good. How are you, Mama?" My granddaddy, though, her son, he, about 8 years ago, started having hearing problems. And when he did, we knew it was serious. One time, he sat down and faked his way through a whole conversation with a politician. Not only that, but when we had a family reunion one time, he was shouting the entire time, attracting attention to himself that he did not need. "Oh yeah, hey everyone, hello, hello, hello." And we were all like, shut up. One time, we were all watching the Super Bowl together, and this was the year that Uptown Funk was performed during the halftime show. And at the part where it said, Uptown Funk it up, Uptown Funk you up, my grandfather was like, I'm sorry, what are they saying? I mean, you could ask him what his favorite football team is, the Falcons or the Hawks. You can look at him and say, Granddaddy, Falcons or Hawks? He'd look at you and go, yeah. Seriously, Granddaddy, Falcons or Hawks? Yeah. Yeah. And his wife, my Grandma Susie, learned the hard way that when you're getting old, do not do anything to make your blood pressure go up too high, or else you will lose your memory. This one day, she went to Planet Fitness to work out, and she raised her blood pressure so high that she lost her memory. I remember that day. I was just at the house, minding my own business. My grandfather tries to call me, and I miss it because I'm playing video games. And then as soon as I get to a checkpoint, I pause the game. And when I look at my phone, I have a voicemail from my grandfather. He's saying, John, call me back as soon as you can and tell your dad to call me. I have an emergency here at the house. And my first thought was, okay, code red. All right, I'm going to tell my dad to call him. So my dad calls him, and you can hear my grandmother in the background freaking out because she thinks she lost all her rings. Seriously, you hear it in the background. My rings! My rings! Where's my rings? Where's my rings? Somebody stole my rings! And so later, after she ended up in the hospital, we went to go visit her that night. And she's lying in the bed, staring at the ceiling fan with a huge smile on her face. And then when she sees us, she's like, oh, well, welcome. Come in. And then we're like, are you okay? Then she looks back up at the ceiling fan. Then she looks back down and she goes, oh, you're here. Welcome. Come in. And then she pulls up the covers and she's like, oh, I'm not wearing anything but my undies under here. And we're like, okay, we didn't need to know that. She's like, oh, sorry. Oh, sorry. And then about 5 more seconds go by. She's like, hold on. She looks under the covers again. She's like, oh, I'm not wearing anything but undies under here. And we're like, once again, we did not need to know that. She's like, oh, okay. And then my mom's like, hey, y'all, take it easy on her. She's lost her memory. She can't help it. And we're like, okay. So we take it easy on her. But my grandfather is not having it. He is not going easy on her. He's just like, I told you we did not need to know that. Susie, stop it! The worst of them all is, well, the worst and the oldest of them all is Grandpa, my mom's father. His nickname, well, his name in my contacts on my phone is Mr. Repetitive. Yeah. I mean, I'll open the phone app on my phone and there's 6 voicemails in a row. Mr. Repetitive, Mr. Repetitive, Mr. Repetitive, Mr. Repetitive. The signs that he was starting to get old started when he started repeating himself more. I mean, he'd had a problem with that his whole life, but it's never been worse. Poor guy. I mean, one time, he tried to give my mother a call, and she couldn't answer because she was busy, so he left a voicemail. But during the voicemail, he kept repeating himself and beating around the bush and wouldn't get to the point and never got to the point. It went a little something like this. Hey, Gina, this is your dad. Okay, this is my time and your time. Okay, the time is 5:33. That's 6:33 your time. And I really need to talk to you in the next 3 days or the next 4 days. I mean, I need to talk to you, and it's concerning important things. So I don't know how long I'll be here. I'm not going anywhere for at least an hour. We have a snowstorm of about 10 inches. We're expecting at least maybe 12. And so I won't be going anywhere for an hour. And my number, you have my number. And it's concerning important things about the pension. And I also have a follow-up with the funeral home too. So you need to call me in the next 3 days or the next 4 days. And I've been sleeping like last night I got about 5 hours. And so you need to call me, and it's concerning important things about the pension. And I also have a follow-up with the funeral home too. So the time is 6:35, 5:35 your time. Sunday night. That's what time it is. Okay. Love you. Bye-bye. Whew. All that being said, I guess the overall takeaway from this episode should be old or not, young or old, a person is a person. As the years go by, as you get older, you can't help that. But just because of that, it doesn't make you any more or less of a person. You're a person, no matter how old or how young you are. And that's all I have to say about that. Anyway, hope you guys enjoyed this video, this discussion topic. Don't forget to drop a like on this video if you liked it. Hit that subscribe button for more upcoming content, which will be amazing. Y'all won't want to miss it? All right. Keep it real. Peace out.
Hold up.